So as investor A, so we're going to ignore landlords for a minute, and we are going to ignore you moving into your own house. We're just going to talk about folks who want to flip houses. And y'all, there are people, and we all know them, who do this on an ongoing basis. They are purchasing homes and then fixing them up and putting them back on the market to make money. And while I am definitely not against that, I do always try to convince people, why not buy at least a few rental homes on the side because of the tax implications, when you're just purchasing it and selling it within a 12-month period at short-term capital gains, which is your regular income tax rate. So we're going to look at a deal that costs $250,000 and then plus 100,000 that it would absolutely need in repairs. And that is not going overboard or buying expensive things for the bathroom or anything. You'll see a picture in a minute and you'll feel me, but to make it worth $450,000. So y'all, if you saw a house like this, wouldn't you think that this is a great deal? I mean, 450 minus the 350 that you have in it is $100,000 gross profit. So can anyone tell me why someone would not jump on this deal?
They didn't have the money to actually do it, or they didn't know the resources to go to find it.
Ding, 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 ding. Exactly. That's just it. Y'all, it does not matter that you could make $100,000 if you do not have $100,000 to fix it up. So, you start to see the investor language that goes around, because the thing is, and I do want to throw in the way that I got started, y'all, is, yeah, it would be great to have $100,000 in the bank. It's also great to have $100,000 on a home equity line of credit on your own home that you could use, or credit cards. Y'all, I can't tell you how many houses that I have fixed up and sold on my credit cards, because I'm not going to, if I'm flipping a house, I'm not going to own it that long. So I'm not going to be paying this big interest for a while. So just to plant the seed, folks that don't feel like you have enough to get started, maybe you do. And the reason that I put that the $100,000 gross profit, and I said minus 3 to 6% commission, is just, we invited your friends, family, and clients to come to this meeting today too. And if you're paying both sides of the commission as an investor, then that can be, of course, up to 6%. But y'all, the 3% is for all of us who are agents, because we are getting the other 3% because we're going to list our own house, of course. So I put in here $5,000 for negotiations, whether that's for closing costs or anything that you negotiate through the closing. And so I said it's around $30,000-ish. Okay, that would be coming off that 100,000 regarding commission and the negotiations for closing. And so agent versus an investor client, the agent would have made 100, and then even though you would be paying as the seller, you'd be paying the buyer agent commission for whoever brought the buyer. But just remember, you would also be getting the $13,500 in commission, and when we say that, I do want to encourage you, if you don't need to take it as commission, I wouldn't. I'll tell you when people do, is when you have partners. When you have partners, when you're flipping a house, then you're doing the agent work. So, whatever it is that you negotiate with them, you do, certainly want to charge a commission. But just remember that commission is taxed as income, with the other 7.5% for self-employment tax. And so it just depends on how long you keep the house. If it's short-term capital gain, you could be paying that anyway. But look at the difference, though, of course, when you're offsetting the commission. And so whether you looked at this as 70 and then 83.5, or you looked at it as 95 and 70, both of those numbers are still positive. Y'all, this is the house I bought last year. So I bought it in June. And but here's the thing. This house was in Roswell, and it's about 4 blocks off Canton Street, if you know that area, which is a very desirable area. And I bought it for $250,000. So let's talk about everybody that made money in this transaction. Okay. The person that sold it to me is a solid source agent, and he bought it for $30,000 less than he flipped it to me. So he is on, just because that's his full-time job. He's an investor and general contractor. And so he bought this house, and just from a wholesale list, and he didn't do one thing to it. He only owned it a few days, called me, I went over there and bought it from him. So when you think about all the different ways to make money here, y'all, like if you have a relative that has decided to move, or that's going to an old folks home, and you just think, oh my goodness, they're such a hoarder, nobody's going to buy it. Yes, they will. Okay. Yes, they will. And you do not have to do anything to it. And you don't have to do all the work either, because you can always reach out to other investors who would love to jump in and do this. So you can tell when we got here, there, I mean, this is what this is before we did anything. This is the first day that I went there. We didn't even own it yet. And so when you look around though, y'all, don't you just look at it and go, wow, you had to do everything. And you're right. So the transformation begins. I always like to remind folks, if you have any kind of, see this cabinet in the corner over here, just remember when you get granite, and cabinets, if you have to have a special size for a cabinet, you want to go ahead and order that early. For whatever reason, even post-COVID, cabinets just take a minute to get here when you need a special size. But I usually go to Cabinet Depot on or Builder Supply, which is like, I mean, it's awesome, but they have cabinets in stock. Y'all, I'm not passionate about it, even though I did put white cabinets in there because white is what is in right now. If they didn't have white and it was going to take 6 weeks for something to get here, I would have just changed colors. Like I'm never so attached to something specific when I'm flipping a house. And so there's so many places that you can go and buy these cabinets that are already put together. So it's so much less expensive when you can get the hardware in the cabinets, when it comes with it, and the sink is already in there, and it costs a lot less for the contractor to put it together. And so but y'all, so when I put this house on the market in Roswell, it sat there, and this is back in August. Okay. It's in August. And so remember, that's when the market really started to shift last year. And also kids went back to school. So, really anytime that you can sell something between April and July, good for you, just because in August, the market starts to slow down some. So it had been on the market a few days. And so that's why I asked this question. I'm like, so what does investor A, the person that's flipping a house, do when it does not sell quickly? So this is what I did. I literally called a mover. I had them come to my personal house, take my furniture from my living room and my rug and my lamp. I mean, y'all, and I sat on the floor at my house. Okay. But I will say the house sold in 2 days once I staged it. So, you just go, Michelle, I'm not moving my own furniture over there. Okay, well, I did. I did. And when it sold, coming out at the end of the day with, $80,000 ish, even after the other person's commission and everything, y'all, that's just a lot of money. And the thing is, it was only 90 days. Well, I bought it on June the 15th and sold it on September 30th. And so sometimes, oh, and here's one more thing. See the sunroom in that behind the stairs over there? That sunroom became a third bedroom because right to the left here, I put a closet in. I put a closet, I framed in a closet right in there to the left. And so, because even though you saw them upstairs, there were large bedrooms, but still there were only two. And of course, the easy button you would think would say, oh, but you could have taken that big room and separated it into two. Actually, you couldn't, because there are stairs in there and there was no way, trust me, I have tried. I mean, I tried every way that I could to do that. There was no way. And so I knew that by having a third bedroom, it would make a difference. And so I had a closet put in there. And so, this is what we have to ask now as the pop quiz, as we approach the end of the house flipper, investor A, is, why wouldn't, if the house wasn't renting and it's in a desirable location, why would I not just say, well, shoot, if I'm not going to get this money for it, then I'm just going to rent it? Why would I not do that? Y'all, somebody's dying to unmute and tell me.
Too much money in
You
it.
want to flip again.
Yes, right. Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. There's too much money in it. I mean, there's 100 grand in it. I'm not going to rent a house with, 100 grand in it, because I could buy, if I wanted to buy rental homes, I could buy 3 or 4 rental homes with that amount of money. So, and my choices would have been different. I put white cabinets in, marble countertop. If I was going to rent that house, then I would have put probably, tile. I would have put definitely different countertops, just for tenants. And then when I would get ready to sell it, okay, whether that's 10 years, 20 years, whatever down the road, that's when I do the heavy renovation like I just did to sell that house. So that's what we have to think about, especially y'all with cabinets. I know some people are so hooked on white cabinets. I just encourage you, if you're going to rent houses, white cabinets are not your friends, okay? But but there's a lot of frugal decisions that you can make. I'm a big floor and decor person, and just y'all go to the end caps, because they've got clearance on these really nice, huge tiles, like 12 by 24, and so they just look so classy and huge. But they're on clearance for like $2.85. That's crazy. It's sick. So, if it's just an absurd color, then no. But if it's anywhere in the taupe family or gray or, stone or something, I mean, that is now my tile for the bathroom. And I'll make everything else around it just because it makes a huge difference. And it's still going to look great in there because it's brand new tile. So, I know a lot of folks will get other people involved when you're making choices to flip a house or to rent a house. I would encourage you to get confident in your own choices, because y'all, nobody's looking out for your purse like you are. And so you just really want to be making the financial decisions. Another thing about investor A and flipping houses is you can't get a mortgage to flip a house. Okay. And when people say you can't, I mean, are you going to go to jail for it? I mean, I don't know, but here's the thing. Okay. What you are signing on the 1003 on your mortgage application, that form number is 1003. When you're filling that out, it says, is this going to be your primary residence? Okay. It says, do you intend, actually is the word, do you intend to occupy this as your primary residence? So this is what actually happens in real life. If you did get it a loan, so let's just say you only put 5% down and you bought that house I just bought, okay, for $250. I mean, if you were getting a mortgage, I don't even think that you could honestly get like a conforming mortgage, but let's just say a different house that you bought, and that at least had flooring and an air conditioner and stuff, and water spigots. But if you bought that, and the thing is, if you sell it within like 3 months, like I did with this house, the next time that you apply for a mortgage, they're going to see, the next mortgage company or the same one, whoever you're using, they're going to see that your last mortgage was only active on your credit report for 3 months. Just want to encourage you, even if you just Google hard money lending for investment houses, you'll be surprised about how much money is out there, and that the interest rate is a lot lower than you may think. There's also, when you think about, we talked about splitting the profit with a private investor. And then also, creative lending. And so I want to encourage those of you, and it's so funny, y'all, our Solid Source family is so full of humility, but I can assure you there's at least one person on this call that is gonna uh, just resonate with this and say, oh, I'm so glad we talked about that. Y'all, let's go through this timeline. If you purchased, let's just say, so I taught a class one time that says every girl needs 3 rental houses, but now I changed it to everyone, okay, needs 3 rental houses. But it's, if you had a few rental houses, and then remember, like if you bought 5 and then 2 really took off, so you sold them and used the appreciation, you use your profit to pay off the other 3. So now you've got 3 houses that you own free and clear. Here's the thing, when you get older, okay, maybe you don't want to be a landlord anymore, okay, because you're tired of, I don't want to say babysitting adults, but y'all, there's an emergency that happens. I want to prepare all of you who are thinking about being a landlord. There's an emergency that happens every year at the same time. It's always around the last part of December. And around the last part of December, it's so unbelievable how many people do not have their rent. And so we, it's just like, what I used to say to people is I'd say, listen, it's Christmas at my house too. Okay. So I need you to pay it. I need you to pay the rent. The thing is, let's just say that over a 20-year period of you being a landlord, maybe you're just tired of doing it. Guess what you can do then that takes you all the way through retirement? You could hold the mortgage. So whether it's the tenant that's already in it, or you just sell it with owner financing, y'all, now you don't have to do any repairs. You own the house free and clear. You've got somebody paying you 8% on the loan, because here's the thing, a lot of folks, the reason they are tenants is because they can't get a mortgage, due to credit or different reasons. And they actually don't mind paying more. They're just happy to own a house and get the mortgage. But another thing is that you have to consider, especially if you're, when I say borrowing the money, but using money off credit cards or your HELOC, if you're going to get money for your own home to do the renovations, is how long will it take? Will it take 3 months to do it? Will it take 6 months to do it? And if it's going to take 6 months and you're not building a brand new house, I just would like for y'all to call me before that happens. Okay. Because I don't believe it. And I can help you move that up, just because y'all, I know that there are people that take a really long time to flip houses, but that's typically when people tell you that, it's because that's not their priority. Okay. Which is fine. I mean, they could have legit priorities like, newborn twins at home. I mean, there's plenty of reasons that it would take 6 months, but you really need to know that, because y'all, what if that house had taken me 6 months? It means I would have been putting it on the market in December. Okay, well, who wants to put a house on the market in December? I mean, that's worse than August. So, I mean, the thing is, it's just really important to get everything lined up in advance, because it will just help you make more, and you're not going to get stuck there. You know what I mean? Y'all, think about investors right now, and most of the investors that I know only have like 1, maybe 2 projects going on right now. Do you know why? Because of the interest rate environment that we're in, and nobody wants to get caught, with 4 or 5 houses if the market just tanks, so all of those are considerations. And also think about the opportunity cost of your discretionary time. And if you are heavy in real estate and you've got a lot going on, because some people are like, well, I don't want to flip a house, because now that I know how to work with investors, I'm working with 3 investors, and they all want to purchase 2 to 3 houses a month. And I would be giving up way too much commission to make that 80,000, because I could have made more than that if I was selling them homes. You know what I mean? So you do have to take into consideration the opportunity cost of that 3-month period, or a lot of times you can flip it in 30 days. I mean, that one was like a whole teardown. But if all we're doing is binge watching series on Netflix, then we need to start real estate investing because it has better consequences. But investor A considerations too is short-term capital gain that we talked about. So if we were to say the agent profit there was $95,000, I just use 35%, just as a number for your income rate that you pay on your commissions just at the end of the year. Because remember, short-term capital gains, the way they're taxed right now, is that it just goes into your income. So you pay the same amount as you would pay on commission. And then for the investor short-term capital gains, theirs is less because they would be paying a listing agent and the buyer's agent. And so that's really the only difference in there. And so, we always want to talk to an accountant when we're talking about the being able to offset short-term capital gains. A little word to the wise here, though. Okay, the thing is, if you have short-term capital gain or loss, so I'm going to do this two ways. One is me flipping that house. Okay, so if I had lost money in the stock market last year, day trading. Is everybody with me? Day trading? Okay. So if I made 80 on that house that I only kept for 3 months, so it is a short-term capital gain. Okay. If I had lost money in the stock market, let's just say I lost $40,000, then, but I was day trading. So I didn't hold my stock for a year and a day, and I didn't hold that house for a year and a day. So I could actually write off my short-term capital loss against my short-term capital gain. Can I tell you what stinks? Okay, that you don't actually find out a lot of times until it's happening to you. Okay, is that if I'd held that house for a year and a day and I, lost that money in the stock market, then I couldn't write it off against it because now that house would be long-term capital gains and the money I lost day trading is short-term capital gains. You cannot write those off each other. So just a little accounting note from your nerd friend and broker. So another thing is I always like to say, y'all schedule at least $10,000 more, in the budget for your renovations, because you just never know what you're going to find. Like once you get, way up in the attic and under the house and everything. And sometimes, if there's mold or something like that, I mean, it takes more money a lot of times than you think it's going to. And another thing that can cost money like that is rerouting, like an air conditioner vent or something, just depending if you're going to sell the house FHA. The FHA, just remember, you would have to hold it. There's that holding period that investors have to hold it. Demo, what is that now? Is it 90 days?
For the hold,
For FHA. Y'all, we'll find out.
I think it is.
Isn't it 90 days?
That's what I think. So
Yeah,
I think it's 90. I think it's
Yeah,
90.
it is 90 days.
So y'all just remember that though, because if you're flipping a house and you go, boom, I got it done in 35 days, but it's in a heavy like FHA area where a lot of folks are using FHA in that subdivision due to price point or whatever, then that means that some of the things and renovations that you're choosing might have, especially, like outside, a lot of times FHA will require certain steps, or whatever, like a certain height or depth on steps, things that conventional loans don't care about. And so finding good contractors, I said that's an open mic because y'all, last time that we had this class, we had so many connections on this class because there were some folks who did contracting and said, oh my gosh, because that's what I mean, I'll continue to say during our time together. It's like, if you'll work hard and you'll jump in, I mean, I can assure you there's somebody in this class right now that would be happy to pay if you're going to do the work, And so it's a great opportunity. And I just want to encourage everyone, if you've got a great contractor that you would recommend, please feel free to put it in the chat box. I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate that. And I have a few that I really like. I will say I usually pay more now because I use TE. It's T like Tom and E like elephant. TE Electric TE Plumbing, TE HVAC, and they're awesome. They do cost a little more, but if they say they're going to show up at 7, they show up at 7. They're usually sitting there at 6:55 in the morning in the driveway. And I mean, just that alone for the opportunity cost of not having time wasted, and they're just very competent. But I know a lot of times people like to get the very least expensive person they can. I just think a lot of times, that we wind up actually paying more because we have to get somebody competent to fix it. This is the summary of Investor A. And so when we are flipping houses, we just have to remember, y'all, this is a great side hustle. And when you think to yourself, when you think, well, how am I going to buy 3 or 5 rental houses? Well, flipping a house is a great way to make money to put down on a rental house. Okay. Because I always come back to rentals, y'all, because I want y'all to live debt free and in financial freedom. And real estate is the way to do that. But flipping houses, y'all, is just like a day job. The day that you leave your day job, the money stops. So, flipping houses, I always say to folks who are flipping houses, why not just get some rental homes on the side so that you can write off the depreciation, and that way at least it'll go against the all the income that you're making so that you can make more from every house. It does require constant oversight and management. So based on that, I always say, be choosy about the location of a house that you're flipping. If it's someplace that's close to you or that someone in your family is driving by every day anyway, like on their way somewhere, great for you. Because it really, a lot of times if you're not there, strangely, nothing gets done. So, I mean, if you hire a big contractor, then they'll do it. But now you just, lost a lot of your return on investment if you did hire somebody to oversee it. That's the most expensive person that you can buy. So and the thing is, y'all, when we're overseeing it, then we're learning about it too. And I'd still encourage you to tile a floor. Just because, once you do it, you start thinking, well, gosh, if I can tile the floor, I can probably put in cabinets. If I can put in cabinets, I could probably fix the sheetrock. I could probably build a closet. You're right, you can. You can just watch a YouTube video and try. But also, you know what if you have a car that you want to pay off to get your debt to income ratio good so that you can buy rental houses? This is flipping a house is a great way to get rid of credit card debt, to pay off your car, just to free up money for later. And it also provides documentable income, of course. If you're trying to get your numbers up. I know a lot of times in real estate, because we get to write off so much, we struggle getting mortgages, just because we've written off so much. But when you're making a lot, on the side in real estate, then it definitely helps you qualify for a mortgage. And, my bottom point in red is just something that I'll close on for Investor A. Just remember, flipping houses is awesome for a lot of reasons that we just talked about, but it does not lead to waking up in the morning with all of your monthly expenses being taken care of. And it does not do anything for your retirement. Flipping houses is more for the short term, but I'm still into it. I mean, I'm into it just because why wouldn't you be if you can be? Because y'all, there's about to be a tremendous amount of opportunity as far as just home prices and fewer buyers, y'all. Supply and demand. The supply of buyers, of course, is going down when mortgage rates go up, meaning that home prices are going to have to follow. And so if you're not ready to jump in, with your credit report or saving cash or clearing room on your credit cards or applying for credit cards, apply for a HELOC on your house if you have a lot of home equity. There's a lot of great stories. I'm sure we'll hear from many of you at the end about, how you creatively found a way to jump in and do what you wanted to do investing. Y'all, if you have not read this book, then I would encourage you to either download it on Audible and listen to it in the car or just read the book. It's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It came out around the year 2000. It will change your perspective basically about everything, but about what's an asset, what's truly an asset, and what's truly a liability. Because basically, if we owe money on our home, then it's a liability. It's not an asset. But this book is really about, how to make money work for you, but he's the person that says, about getting out of the rat race. It's making enough in your investments, not just real estate, but in your investments to pay for your monthly expenses. So y'all, we're going to go into rental homes and landlord